Hey y'all, we are back. Welcome to Let's Chat. I'm Miss Lissha. You know I got my right hand, and most of the time she is my left. The fabulous Miss Toni. Hey T.
Hey Leash, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Okay, good. It's been a great night, Leash. We've had some fabulous guests so far today. If you missed any of our show, no worries. Just hit up our archives. Our first guest tonight was the one and only. I really enjoyed her, Miss Terry A. Johnson. And we just had a new author, Miss Lori Hayes. And make sure you check out those archives. You know, we have both spectrums, seasoned, fairly seasoned, and new.
Yes, we've had a great night. We appreciate you guys rocking with us. Somebody was like, "Why do y'all keep changing?" We do it for a few reasons. One, when people want to get their interviews, I don't have to edit it because I do the producer portion and the production portion for Let's Chat, and so I don't have to edit it for that. You know, they have their own link that they can share amongst their people. The other thing is for editing reasons, because our show goes on other platforms. I actually cut it up and we have commercial spots. So if you want to have a commercial slot on Let's Chat, send your request to thechatradioshow@gmail.com. So in order for us to put the commercials in there when I'm editing the video, that's why we have the different breaks.
Absolutely. So it's easier for our guests. They get to have their own show. You know, they may want to say, go look, I was on this radio interview or live, and they can go right to it instead of shuffling through all the various guests we have.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And then at the same time, in that editing process, after I edit that, I take it and I create a just the audio recording of that particular interview, and I put that on Spreaker. So you can also get it on Spreaker Radio. Spreaker Radio.
To our madness here.
Yes. It's a method to our madness. Make sure you guys go like, follow, and share. Let's Chat. We are consistent. We're into consistent branding. Let's Chat on every platform, whether it's Instagram, Tumblr, YouTube, Twitter, Let's Chat Radio, iHeartRadio, Let's Chat Radio, Spotify, iTunes. So you can actually pull us up on any podcast app as well. So you don't have to necessarily log on to Blog Talk to get our radio shows, but our lives, because they are live, and I still want to be able to get that radio feel, that radio option. I take and I create an audio, and I put that on Spreaker, which will put it on Spotify as well.
And also, Leash, I love when we do the radio because that's when we can showcase our musical selections. Leash and I, we have our favorites. For those
Yes,
that tune and follow us on Blog Talk, we put certain records into rotation and we just fall in love with them and it just resonates with us. So I love that radio portion of our show.
absolutely, and we appreciate all of our just the songs that we get. Some of the songs are not even out yet. Shout out to Keith Robinson and EP Pope. We're able to hear their new albums before those albums drop, and be able to love on that. I'm just excited because Love Languages is a great song that Keith Robinson has coming out on his Love Apostolic album. And then EP Pope, he's a producer, but he is also a jazz artist. So he has a jazz album that's getting ready to drop. He has a song called Dance Floor that we play to the wheels fall off. So we love that they support us and that they trust us with their products. Shout out to Omar Tyree, because every time he does something new, he always emails me. He always sends it to me. He might send me a text and be like, Miss Lissha, this is what I got to do. But I appreciate that. I appreciate those that come to us and want to be able to share your time, space, and energy. We always have a season break. So our last show will be in October for the season, but I am putting together one banger of a show. Let me tell y'all.
I can't wait. And you guys, y'all won't know who they are until closer to the show.
Yes, that show, because it is going to be a literary show. So I'm going to say now, you're going to need paper, you're going to need a pencil, you're going to need your notebook, you're going to need a pen, whatever you're going to need, because it's going to be some straight jewels dropped.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love taking notes because once you take those notes, they'll stay with you forever. And like we were talking about with our last guest, organize your notes where you can go to it no matter what, even if it's pen and paper, electronically, your phone. Organize your notes and keep it in a cohesive way that you can just pull from it whenever you need it. You don't have to go searching or like, where did I put that piece of paper? Where did I write that note? So make sure you always have your notes accessible.
Absolutely. And I'm really excited because September is filling fast, but that is our celebrity month. We have a lot of celebrities that will be sharing their space and their time and their projects with us in September. I'm just excited. We do so much. We do a lot of work. There's a lot of other things behind the scenes that we are doing. Tomorrow is Saturday. Tomorrow I will be facilitating a Black Authors Matters Tour panel, Black Men Write. So make sure y'all head over to the Black Authors That Matters page. Make sure you like, follow, and share. That will be tomorrow at 4. For all of those that are looking for writing workshops, Eat and Joy announced today that she is doing a literary workshop on tomorrow from 3 to 5. You can check her page. We'll share it on our page where you'll be able to register. Slots are going to go fast. Joylyn Ross is her other author name, but she has been in the industry for so long. She has so much knowledge, historical knowledge, just about the literary world itself, and so much information about the business side, which is not talked enough. It's not talked about enough. Literature is in the state. It's especially for Black authors, and so that's gonna definitely be our feel for 2021. The state of Black publishing. That's going to be our fuel for 2021. So we got a lot of stuff coming. I'm just excited. But no, for that last show, I'm not dropping any tidbits. I'm not doing anything. You'll know like right before it happens. But right now I'm in the process of securing everybody.
Absolutely. Leash, and you talk about 2021 coming out of COVID. We all want to be better, and that includes literary. You want it to be better, and you want it to show the growth. A lot of people have had this time to improve themselves, to reflect on if this is what they want to do, to learn the business, to learn the craft. So 2021 should be a powerhouse of a year as far as people being better than they were, not just this year, but previous years, because this is the time, believe it or not, to grow, to improve.
Absolutely.
So use it to your advantage.
And then 2022, we will be getting ready for Vision in Books. So I will be rolling out a lot of the information top of 2021 for Vision in Books 2022, which will be on my birthday. It's going to be on my birthday.
Unknown national holiday, peeps.
So I'm excited to get Vision in Books 2020. Even though we had the snowstorm in February, it still was a great event. We had a ton of authors to come out. We were able to mix and mingle, and that is the best part of being in the literary world. So I'm excited. 2022, we're going to have our eat and greet back. I didn't do an eat and greet this year, but I will do one for 2022. So I'm excited. I got a lot of things coming up. I'll be doing a lot of traveling coming up soon, being part of the Black Authors Matters tour in the background. My book's not ready yet, but hopefully I will have my first book out by the top of 2021. So I got a lot going on, guys. I got a lot going on.
Now, for those that may not know, Lissha popped this on me about, I want to say 2 hours and 7 minutes. Yeah, I'm still counting. I'm still counting. About 2 hours and 20 minutes ago, at the start of our first show. How excited she talking about visions and books, and then she drops on me all she's been doing. And T's gonna be a presenter. What? She's editing.
Listen, y'all, listen. I want to do a writing workshop. Everybody that did my eat and greet back in 2017, that was my very first eat and greet. And we did a writing workshop, and everybody loved it. I love to be able to educate at my events. I love to be able to have that education portion. And so I want to bring that back. And I know that if I go out and do a writing workshop and I get another editor, Toni is going to look at me like, who is that? I don't care what she do.
So y'all see, I know Gibbs is like, what? You see, just drop that on me. Now I'm like, how my mind has been spinning ever since you dropped that, right, Leash?
Listen, Toni always fussing at me because she'll be like, Leash, didn't I tell you to unplug? I'm always doing something. I got something else boiling. She was like, oh, you already started that?
I can't keep up.
She was like, this is not what I meant when I told you to go unplug. You don't know how to sit still, Leash. You do too much. You do too much. You do too much.
I be getting messages from her at all hours of the night. I'm like, did she go to sleep last night?
Every time I sleep, I think. And I'd be like, ooh, that's a good idea. Ooh, that's a good idea. Ooh, that's a good idea. And I'm like, well, how can I make this happen? And then within like a few days, something might fall in my lap. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I guess, yeah, we can start that now.
I'm like, Leash does not stop, guys. She does not. She does not stop.
Shout out to Gibbs Truth. Yeah, she is an author. Make sure y'all go and check out her new book. Well, her re-release book. What Gibbs says she better get you and not nobody else. That does what we right. We have had a great show. When you guys are rolling through the archives, we appreciate y'all. Our Blog Talk replays are bumping, okay? Thank you guys, whether you are internationally watching our shows or listening to our shows, we appreciate you guys. And it's not just on one platform, y'all. We are really growing on all platforms. You know, we are in front of, I would say, about 5,000 people. Just with our shows and our social media and our other platforms. And 6-7 years ago, we wouldn't have thought we would be doing this. When I first started, I was doing Honor Thy Author in the Writing Royalty group, and it was an online, just like Friday interviews that I did in that group. And then when we started doing radio, it was too much for me to do both. And so I asked Toni if she wanted to do this show with me. And at first we did it once a month. We did it once a month. Now, Toni would be like, how many shows we got? How many days? You got me working till the snow come down, don't you?
And it's 100 degrees outside. She's going to be hooked up to the first snowstorm.
But I appreciate Tia. I appreciate her. She always supports me. I appreciate all of you for always supporting our shows, making sure you guys come out and watch and support and participate in everything that we do, whether it's a off the wall post. We appreciate you guys for that. We have our next fabulous guest coming to kick it with us in the chat room. Y'all, have y'all seen these covers? Listen, we about to talk about these covers. Okay, because everybody knows that we are book bougie here on Let's Chat. We used to try to deny it, not anymore. We are very book bougie. We love clean and crisp covers. And his covers, not only are they clean and crisp, they speak. They speak volumes about the content in that book. They're part of the eye candy. They are the eye candy. Mm-hmm. And so I'm excited to have him on. He is an author as well, so I'm excited to hear about what he is putting into his portion of his book. We have J.L. Woodson. Welcome.
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Cool.
All right. So before we get started, we'd like you to tell everybody just a little bit about yourself and your literary journey.
Well, my name is J.L. Woodson. I started out writing at 16 years old. Well, 15 technically, and came out with my first book at 16 years old, The Things I Could Tell You. And then went to publish Superwoman's Child, Son of a Single Mother, which was nominated for an NAACP Image Award when I was 19 and attending Fisk University. And then also had a short story called God Does Answer Prayers in the anthology Breaking the Cycle with Zane. I was with Simon & Schuster for a good little minute. And then now basically I started doing a lot more book covers, more behind the scenes stuff, trying to get authors to the best position possible.
Absolutely.
In their self-publishing journey and everything like that. I'm also a graphic designer and also the director of diversity and inclusion for AIGA Houston.
Oh.
You know what? We was talking about you when we had your mom on the show last week. Your mom's so proud of you. We was proud of you. We was like, go ahead. Your mom is super duper proud of you.
Yeah, and I'm usually the one who's just modest, so.
She is so proud of you. We are so proud of you. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about the first time you sat down to write. You know, a lot of times we tend to give ourselves more excuses than we have time for. We got an excuse on why we can't do everything. You know, and we tend to speak into other people and encourage other people more than we speak and encourage ourselves. So what was that moment like when you decided to write and publish your first book?
Well, actually, it wasn't even necessarily, I guess, my decision. So,
Mom.
Yeah.
Mom.
Like, okay, so I was the person who had the ability. My mother and my teachers saw the talent in me and everything like that. So, my first book, The Things I Could Tell You, that started off as an English assignment.
Wow.
Like I was basically in class. They wanted us to write something scary like Edgar Allan Poe or something like that. And I'm like, that's not really scary to me. Like, like that's not it. Like I have no issue with the fantasy of a book and everything like that. And also thinking what could have been in the past and all that great stuff. But what was scary to me is like, literally having to protect one parent from another, or, dealing with a real life situation that is much more believable, because domestic violence has been around for like, forever, which, is definitely a problem. And I wanted to basically highlight that in my short story. And then my teacher thought that this was actually happening to me.
Oh, so she called home like, is there anything we can help
you want to
with?
tell us? Like, do we need to have someone call counseling for you and everything? I'm like,
your mom probably was like, what is going on?
Like they called my mother to the school and everything.
Wow.
Because of that. And I was like, okay, I guess. And then my mom read it and she's like, yeah, you need to turn this into the book. So the first chapter of the book is my short story from English class.
Wow.
Awesome. But you had your mama in a pickle for a minute. She was like, wait a minute, we don't have none of these shenanigans going on out. I don't know where we get this information from.
I mean, we did have some instances in our family where we did have to help my mom's friend from like basically escaping an abusive relationship or marriage and everything like that. So, I had stuff I could pull from. But for the most part, it wasn't happening to my mom, between my mom and my dad or anything.
You were like just going with the flow. You was like, listen.
Like, I just want this A.
Right, Julie. That was his mind. He was like, listen, she told me to write this assignment. I'm trying to get out of here. I don't have time. I'm about to throw this stuff together right here, just like this.
I mean, but sometimes that's how it happens. It's not necessarily anything that, like, especially when somebody sees the talent in you, or basically you're letting out something that you're holding in, or something that's in your head. Like my imagination back when I was like in high school was a lot more, I would say a lot more detailed than I am now. But I still have a lot of great stuff to pull off from, because, adulthood just really does it for you.
Did you get that AJL? We just want to know. People want to know in the chat. Did you get that A?
Oh yeah, I got that A. Like I definitely got my A for that assignment. And basically, like, luckily, I was able to continue it, especially coming from that assignment, able to continue the story and basically having to do rewrites and everything like that, or at least use that imagination to make that happen.
Absolutely. So then we want to fast forward 3 years, and you're up for the NAACP award. Tell us what was going on in your mind at that time when you were notified? Were you like, wait, they want me? They what? Well,
okay. I think I was more shocked as the category I was like, as far as like who was in the category. So at the time, Hill Harper was in the same category. I'm like, oh, all right. This is big now. Like it's not just anybody. So and I think when I first got notified, I was like, okay, cool. I'm, like I said, I'm much more modest and everything like that. I will contain my excitement for when I'm alone.
Your mama had a whole party, didn't she? She was like, yes.
My mom is okay. One thing you don't really like, she does a lot on the like when she was on the show the other day. And everything like that, but you have not seen her at my basketball games or my baseball games.
That's good.
She will bring stuff that doesn't even belong. Like, whoever seen somebody with cheerleading pom-poms at a baseball game?
Me.
Right. Like, we had a cheerleading section for basketball. She brought her own pom-poms.
You have to listen. My son played baseball up until his freshman, sophomore year, and it was many games that he told me to please go sit in the car. Just go sit in the car, or please don't embarrass me, or please don't call me that. I mean, just That's straight embarrassing.
But it's one of those things that we're going to hold on to like later on and everything. Like I still like, even though like back then, you know, it might have been embarrassing and everything like that, but I'm able to laugh and tell that story now. Because like, of course, I got made fun of because of that, because she was the only parent with my cousins at the basketball games and the baseball games
That's
with
okay.
pom-poms
That's okay.
and being loud and everything. Like, and I love it.
They had to know you had people. You felt good though, didn't you?
I did. But like, she's always been a very big cheerleader of mine, especially when it comes to my accomplishments, even my failures and everything like that. She's always been there. So when it came time for the NAACP Image Award, like, of course, I took her with me on the red carpet and everything. Because like, I mean, it's only right. But I think I was much more enthused about like the surrounding events than I was, because I'm like, okay, Hill Harper's going to get this award. I know it. It's going to happen. And I was perfectly content with, you know, being just the nominee for that. Like, if I won, fine, great, amazing. But just being able to be recognized as a young teenager for having that, telling that story and being able to be seen, that was great. But this was my first time to Los Angeles and everything like that. So we went to the Harley Davidson event. I met Michael B. Jordan before where he was now.
See?
Before the muscles and stuff.
Your mom is in the chat room like, yes, I did.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it was a great experience. I wouldn't have traded for the world. I think I was much more touched, like I said, at the fact that my story was being heard. Because Superwoman's Child is very loosely based off of my mom's relationship together and everything like that, and basically growing up in a house full of women and everything like that. And I mean, it had its bumps in its roads because I wasn't the perfect teenager or anything like that. But just being able to tell that story to connect with other mothers and children as well was great.
What category was it in, JL? Share with us. You remember?
I don't necessarily remember the exact category, but I know they still have it up on their website.
They do.
Like, they still have the archives and everything like that. They still have pictures on Getty of me when, hate to say it, when I had hair, but you know.
And then fast forward to the graphic side of the literary world. Tell us what made you decide to go into the graphic side of the literary world.
Well, for the most part, I didn't start off doing book covers or anything like that. So when I originally went to school, I was originally in school for English education. I wanted to be a teacher. And then I realized like I had a much better talent in graphic design. Like, I was always doing graphics, always trying to learn graphics and everything like that. I just didn't go to school for it at the time. And then I transferred to Columbia College of Chicago. And that's basically where my skills were they took off. So I was always interested in the graphics portion. So when we got to the book cover, like, I designed my mother's book cover. And it wasn't my best work because it was my first cover. But I like the fact that I was able to at least put forth the effort to it. And one thing I noticed, like, a lot of African-American authors, or even just minority authors who are self-published, or sometimes even the ones that are in-house, they don't get a chance to have the full design process behind them that sets them with the actual mainstream book covers that are surrounding them. So I at least wanted to give self-published authors that shot, at least feeling, or at least the look of a mainstream feeling cover, or something that is well thought out and well designed.
With that being said, JL, did you ever have the urge to want to go back into your books, your earlier books, before you got into the graphic design and change those?
Honestly, my first book I wouldn't, because I think that cover really, like, actually that cover was designed by my mentor. So I like covers that really capture a mood
That's
and
Mhm.
right.
really are related to the story. That's the only way I will design that book cover, because if it's not related to it, we're not doing the author justice. So my first book cover I wouldn't touch. My second one I probably would.
Mhm.
Um Only because there was, when we're thinking about the content of the book, it has to relate to, or at least give the hint on the cover. It has to make
That's right.
sense.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I wanted to at least do the author justice. So even if I went back for my second book,
Mhm.
I probably would redesign it or do what my mother tried to do, because she had the original cover for that book is a picture of me as a
Mhm.
little kid. And
Aw.
also, yeah. Also, the original cover for Superwoman's Child has a little kid on the cover, and I felt I loved that cover. I loved it to death. But we went with a different cover, and that's the thing that people, when they go into a major publishing house, they give up a lot of that control.
Mhm.
So that's the part where I like to come in, especially helping people to get through the self-publishing journey, at least the graphic portion, where
Mhm.
they are able to uh, have the cover that they want, that directly speaks to their reader, but also it speaks to them, something that they can be proud of.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so true. And you know, JL, I don't know if you heard Alicia say that, we're book bougie here on Let's Chat. And we used to, hide from it, but now we embrace it. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that we first and foremost see is the graphics design on the cover and the
Mm-hmm.
title. Now I take it even further. I just love the colors, the way the colors appear
Mm-hmm.
on
Yeah.
that cover. And that cover speaks to me sometimes before I even look at the synopsis.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That kind of just draws in me. And when I flip it over and look at the synopsis, I want that synopsis to reflect that cover.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you go about, just drawing from that inspiration? Where do you draw? Do you read the story? You read the synopsis? How do you come to put that cover together?
Okay, so just based off of just the design portion,
Mm-hmm.
um, of course, I have to read the book. I at least have to read the synopsis. I have to get a character description,
Mm-hmm.
understanding who these people are, what genre this is for. Like
Right.
right before this interview, I had a client call with another author and everything like that, and we were talking about her book cover and
Mm-hmm.
everything like that, and we were trying to dissect what is the message in this book, what is the mood for this book, what is the tone for this book, because I'm not designing a romance cover for something that is suspense.
That's right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, and how else are you going to be able to get that if you don't, one, at least read a good portion of the book, or at least read the synopsis?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
um like you have to understand what you're designing for. But it's even just the portion of picking apart the process of the reader's perspective, because I'm not just designing for the author, I'm designing for the reader to pick the book up. So it's not just the cover, it's the feel of the book.
Mm-hmm.
It's understanding, like, why do people keep which texture do people keep in their hand the most. So there's the difference between matte covers, matte
Mm-hmm.
finish covers, and gloss finish covers.
That's
Right.
right.
Gloss finish covers, like, they're full of fingerprints, they look like somebody's computer screen that's been touched all over and everything like that, but the colors are vibrant.
Right.
Now the matte finish cover, those are very hard for people to get out of their hands because they love the feel of it. It feels like velvet.
Yeah.
So I think it's, like I said, it's a psychology behind it, because you have to think, one, how are they going to how's it going to feel when it gets in their hands, but also what's it going to be like when they're 6 feet away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that title and that cover needs to be able to communicate to that reader 6 feet away, like a whole just a little bit shorter than Michael Jordan, a whole basketball player away.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Somebody needs to be able to see that cover, otherwise they're going to walk right past it.
Absolutely.
That's true. I want
Sorry.
to say that's okay, Leash. I live in New York City and I travel on the subway. You would have no idea how many books I have come across or I have gotten because I saw someone else reading it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they are like distance away from me, and
Mm-hmm.
that cover drew me. I didn't know what that person was reading, but I loved that cover. And as soon as I would get to work, I would look it up and
Mm-hmm.
see what it's all about. But you know, like you said, it's not just for the reader, but it's the readers around the readers as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
right.
So that is so important and it's real.
It is, but it also it's what definitely like that thinking and the thinking process behind that is what helps the
Mm-hmm.
author in the long run because I don't just design just to get a paycheck and I design to help them be successful
Right.
because if they're not successful, I take it personally.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I didn't do my job because one, my name is on that artwork.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So I take pride in the fact that that is my artwork being out there for the people to see.
Mm-hmm.
So what it needs to do is job, whether the author is there or not.
Right.
So obviously, when you're looking at somebody on the subway and they're reading a book and everything like that, like, oh, that looks nice. I think I might want to pick that up. It's doing its job.
Exactly. And I've done that for years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then what it is you are selling an experience.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why I just called you the Candy Man. You know, we consider the cover eye candy. You know, everybody likes some eye candy. Men love eye candy. Everybody like eye candy. Those are things. As a reader, your cover is eye candy. Right down to the colors that you use, the graphics that you use, even the way your name lays at the bottom, your spine. All of that is part of the eye candy, and you are selling an experience.
Yeah.
And so when people come to you, you have to make sure that you're able to give them that experience to sell.
Definitely. Definitely. Like it's like we always say, like everybody all the time says, what is that? Don't judge a book by its cover. That is hurtful to me. Because I'm like, judge my book cover. I need to know. Right. Like I need to know if I'm doing stuff right or if I'm doing it wrong. Like because if it's not like of course, like there are some book covers that are, in my opinion, that don't look that well, but the story is great. But the author sometimes just doesn't have enough funds to put the money behind it and everything like that. But that's why, like for me, I try to like balance it out. Like I want to give self-published authors a fighting chance. I'm not trying to get them evicted out of their house for this stuff.
Right. But I paid for your skill.
Yeah, and also I want to give them a quality product that they can be like, yo, this is my book. This is who it was designed by, and you get with them.
Absolutely. Now, tell us about your book, your installment for the Knights. Tell us what book I see in the cover. Yep, we saw it. Your mama showed us everything. So, what was your thought process in putting that project together for yourself?
Well, it's much more of a collaborative project because one, my mother wants me to get more back into writing, which I definitely feel her on that. But it's more so one of those things where I have to have time for it. So luckily, I have people who are there to work with me on the story. Like I'm able to tell a story by myself, but at the same time, I like a collaborative project, which is what this whole thing is all about. So I like for the most part, it's definitely like my portion of it is definitely a journey, especially what I was going through is between being a graphic designer or also my journey as far as mental health, if you will. Because there's been quite a few times where I've been in a dark place and everything like that. There's been quite a few times where like I had to take a road trip or take a trip just by myself just to clear the air in my head, and also seeking therapy. Like
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's not.
No.
Like I'm not ashamed of it at all because of the fact it's one of those things that Black people definitely need. Like like we need more of it. We need to actually take it seriously. That's where the driving force came from the book for me, to tell the story. Because one thing that we never really think about, as like sometimes authors will write a story just to get the story out, just because it's popular or a popular topic and everything like that, like sex sells and all that stuff. That's not where I'm at. It's one of those things where, like, if I'm writing, I'm more than likely going to write to help somebody.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Now, how have you grown? You started writing at the age of 16.
Mhm.
So, growth wise, pen wise, as how have you grown as an author and as a man throughout your journey?
Well, let's say I would say life experiences really help that growth. Because just like we have our ups, we have our downs. Even more so, understanding dealing with people, because like for like the longest, like we've seen a lot of books and everything like that. Like I've never been one of those people to really write about sex or anything like that, or write even anything urban literature, if you will. Like there's nothing wrong with having urban literature and everything like that, but it's like that's not my writing
It's
style.
not reflective of your pen style. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely.
Right. So like when it comes to me and my growth, as I would say as a writer, it's more so the life experiences drive that, I would say. And understanding my interaction with people and my interaction in relationships. Um, honestly, just even reading other people's work sometimes is helpful in that anyway. But uh, anytime I'm writing, even if it's just for me, it's much more of a reflection of how how I've been since I was 16 all the way up until now, like understanding that times always change, things always change. We are always seeing that now more so than ever, whether it's dealing with the safety of Black women, whether it's dealing with specifically Black Lives Matter, or understanding things from an LGBTQ plus community
Yeah.
perspective. So like, because there were a lot of things like when I was 16 that weren't, really pushed. Like we didn't really know anything about intersectionality growing up, or Black mental health or anything like that. So as I've grown and as I've become more mature and everything like that, it's understanding that those things in my life, those experiences in my life, reflect in my writing.
Absolutely. And what kind of impact do you want your writing to be in the literary world?
Like I said, it's more so to help people. Like if anything, like if I can help people by sharing my story creatively, because I can never really see myself writing in first person. But like it's just too narrow, like just too straight line. Like at least with third person or fiction, I can at least embellish a little bit. Like
So more restricted.
like he had chest like The Rock and everything like that. Like I can embellish a little bit. Like he had tattoos covering all his whole body and everything like that. Like I can at least put something out there like that. But as far as I think where I'm trying to head with, like, as far as writing, even if it's just to write for myself, is much more to help others. Because like I said, not everybody is going to write to do that, but at least for me, somebody's going to relate to it. Somebody's going to read it. Somebody's definitely going to relate to it.
That's right. That's right. And it's very important, especially as a Black male author, that you have that intent behind how you move around in the industry. It's very important because you have a lot more female authors than you do male authors, and so your impact, just the fact of your creativity, is going to be a lot for people to be able to experience. And you want men to be able to say, listen, I've gone through that, I've experienced that, and that allows women to understand. Sometimes we don't understand because it's like, well, I can't relate. But if it's something that helps us to understand whoever we're with, the men that we're around, that's to me is a literary jewel.
Yeah, it definitely is. I would say, because let's see, I think for when it comes to the demographic of male and female, as far as black male authors and black female authors, like of course a lot of black male authors more so read, or at least cisgendered black male authors read a lot more nonfiction pieces and everything like that. But when you have black women or other women of color writing stories, like they are writing from the heart. It's one of those things where you see, like even my mom's story, when she's writing from the heart, and like she can push out her pen and everything like that and write longhand, which I'm like, I'm much more of a computer person. It's just me. But she can push her pen out. And that also with all the other authors who are in the trap, like they are very creative. Like I've read these stories. I've read even if I have to just read the synopsis, I'm like, yo, that is intriguing as I don't know what. Like if I wasn't a part of this, I would still definitely pick it up.
Absolutely.
So when it comes to sending out the message via book, I think we have to get out of the mindset or think beyond the whole sex sales situation.
That's
we have to write with a purpose, write with a message,
Elevate.
write to combat. So even sometimes to combat some of these things, even if it's just a little snippet in the book, to technically combat some of the things that we're dealing with today.
Thinking outside of the box. Go ahead.
What's next for you, JL? You know, I don't know if Lee still has that when his mom was on his covers, just so people can get a look
let me see.
at his work. But what's next for you?
Honestly, for the most part, it's still to continue to work with authors. Like I had dreams of being in-house at like Penguin Random House to design book covers. I really like the whole behind the scenes part. I like being able to tell authors, or at least guide authors to get their book published, but also do it properly. Because like there are so many different authors who are out there, especially people of color, that have their story. They have they pretty much have it in their heart to tell, but they don't necessarily know how to get it done. That's where most of my focus is to help. It's not just the cover for me. It's also informing them where to put it up, when to put it up, what avenues should they take to do anything with their books, and also think for the future. Because after that first book is done, like of course you're just going to want to sit back and be like, oh, that's done.
That's when the real work starts.
Right. Like you got to actually keep that up, because once you put out a great quality product, I'm sorry, like that wheel still has to keep turning.
Exactly.
So for me, I'm much more behind the scenes, but I have no issues with writing anything else. Like I still technically write out my ideas like, okay, this is a topic that needs to be tackled, like anything dealing with racism within the family. Of course, people definitely need to be more outspoken about rape. They need to be more outspoken about domestic violence, misogynistic views, homophobia, things of that sort, transphobia. There are a lot of different topics, even just surrounding social impact, but also being able to tell it in a way where it still connects with your readers creatively. So that would basically be more so my area.
Okay. Now, also, JL, when you get a client, right, and they have this story, but they have an idea in their head of how they want their cover to be, but you may see it in a different way. How do you resolve that, or how do you guys come together and agree on that cover? You know, they come and think something else, and you like, no, we should go this direction.
Honestly, like that's the part where it's not necessarily a losing battle, but at the same time, my job is to guide, not just design. It's to guide. So when I have a client and everything like that, and I'm looking at sometimes I do a redesign of a cover, and we're picking apart why this doesn't work.
Okay.
I will tell them in a constructive way, or not necessarily trying to bash them like, yo, that idea just sucks. It just is what it is. That's just what it is. I would be like, well, let's think of this differently.
Mm-hmm.
Because one thing about it is they're coming into this field, in this area, and this industry blind.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a matter of me basically guiding them to understand like why this doesn't necessarily work, or let's think about why this color won't work for this book, or even just understand like where it would fit on a shelf.
Mm-hmm.
Like we think about the full process. It's not just like, okay, you tell me you want this person on this part of the cover, this person on this part of the cover. I basically sit down and talk with them, whether it's via Zoom or if I was back home in Chicago, I would be sitting down and talking with you about the cover.
Mm-hmm.
But it wouldn't be, like I said, it wouldn't be anything but constructive.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, absolutely. I want to talk just a little bit about ordering your steps and listening to those things. Your mom talked about you, like she's so proud of you, but she talked about when you moved to Texas and how you started to flourish, and she saw that growth in you. Talk a little bit about just making sure that when that thing comes to you to make certain moves, how important it is, especially for a man, to make those particular moves to grow.
So when I moved, okay, so I already knew that I wasn't going to be in Chicago for the rest of my life. I had lived in Nashville, of course, because I went to Fisk University, and then I lived in South Carolina. And then, of course, home is just home.
That's
but
right.
also, I will be honest, like I did have some hard times, like even thinking like, okay, what am I gonna do? Like, what's gonna happen? But at the same time, it's more so like, what do you have to really lose by stepping out on there? And plus, like, my girlfriend was here, so
Okay.
like my girlfriend is one of those, like, she knows what she wants, she knows what she wants to do, and if she doesn't know, she'll figure it out. So basically, she had been down here for 2 years already, and she said she was not moving back to Chicago. I was like, oh.
He said, "Boo, listen, I'm going to get her. Listen,
I mean,
she's not coming back, and neither am I."
Right. So with that, it was like, okay, why not?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why not just step out there and everything like that? Like, and I did not know the outcome of it. I didn't, but between God, the universe, and our ancestors and everything like that, like it's working out great because like I love it here. But I think God basically puts things in place for us, and then of course the universe does what it needs to do to basically make sure that it's seen to fruition and everything like that. And I'm not one of those people who will. I normally think I calculate most of my moves, but sometimes I'm very spontaneous. But sometimes you do have to listen to that voice, and if you don't necessarily sometimes think it's going to work out, like I said, I didn't know if it was going to work out or not by me moving here. I did not know what was in store for me, but the universe saw fit, God saw fit, and I can't necessarily say that I made the wrong decision with that.
Sometimes you just need that unseen push, that to get you going, and it can be scary.
It is.
It's the unknown, and it can be scary, but you just have to get that push in that direction, and look where you are right now.
Well, let me show y'all. Let me show y'all what his mom saw that he did not see. Okay. Y'all, we gonna put these covers up here. Y'all see this here? Y'all see this? This is what his mom saw that he did not see. These covers are clean, they're crisp, they're eye candy. That's why J.L. Woodson, I'm calling you the Candy Man from now on. You're the Candy Man.
Beautiful.
I'll take it.
That's just art right there.
I appreciate that. I mean, one thing about these covers, like even with the Kings of the Castle series, like that was like my stepping stone into this series, of course. but I wanted something more vibrant and much more okay, just a little small portion of my process, or at least my style. I love movies. I love movie posters. So if I can't design it to where it looks good on a movie poster, it's not.
You better
It's
talk
more like
about it.
it's not. It's not going to be something that I'm going to be able to design.
Absolutely.
Because I need to see what I'm seeing as far as like, okay, if this was like an actual scene that I'm setting up, what am I going to do with it?
That's just beautiful.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You did a fabulous job. Fabulous job. They are clean, they are crisp, they are professional, they are movie level. You know, if somebody wants to take their book to another level, you can take your cover with you. It's not like you got to go back. That cover is going to reflect a movement. And that's what you're doing. We're so proud of you here on Let's Chat. We want you to tell us what's next for JL Candyman Woodson.
Like I said, for the most part, it's just continuing to work with authors and work on their covers. Like, ultimately, I forgot to say this earlier, but I would like to publish because I feel like
you know who your is, right?
Yeah, but it's also a matter of having my own as well, because like I'm not saying like I'm not going to work with my mother or anything like that, but I want to basically set the stage for because like my mom helps people to get to the point where they can publish themselves. Now she will publish her own stuff and doesn't mind taking anybody under their wing, but also most of the authors have their own publishing company or publishing name up under them. For me, it's much more of a service where if the author doesn't feel like going through all that, I'm able to provide them with that service. It's thundering out here in Texas. Okay.
Oh, boy.
But the overall goal for me is just to help the author get to their main goal of being successful in this industry, because it is a very, very tight, closed game. And sometimes it's not very welcoming.
That's true.
That's right. Well, we so appreciate you coming to kick it here with us in the chat room. We like to do something a little fun in the chat room. Since it's your first time, we not, I ain't gonna say we because I don't come up with the questions. Toni comes up with all the questions. Toni, you come up with all the questions. So, go ahead and take your little sip. Go take your little sip. Go ahead, Dee.
Well, JL, what we gonna call him? Candyman Woodson.
Candyman Woodson.
We so appreciate you spending some of your precious time with us. You are welcome back here anytime.
Thank you.
So we're gonna be easy on you, so it's your first time. But if you could speak to one type of animal, what would it be, and what would you say?
A bear.
Ooh.
Don't eat me. No, but like I love bears. Really? So yeah, like not polar bears, but a grizzly bear and everything like that. Mostly because of their nurturing factors with them, and also they wander a lot. They are very curious and everything. They will be in your backyard if you leave that gate open. But I mean, I'm not. But and also, okay, besides Candyman now, when I was doing student teaching, my nickname was Teddy Bear Man by what was that, the third grade class, third or second grade class, and like I don't necessarily I like teaching. I like helping out young kids and everything like that. But they so when it was like a project and everything like that, and they were just writing stuff to like basically describe everybody, and they wrote one about me, and I didn't really know. They wrote Teddy Bear Man.
Wow.
Because I basically have the power to hug the pain away. Like they handed me that, I cried. I'm like, you little. How y'all gonna do this to me on my last day? But yeah,
I love it.
for me, it would definitely have to be a bear.
See, that
Like
question got you.
that's even for my logo now. Like I just switched over. It's now a bear.
Really?
Yeah.
Look
Mm-hmm.
at that. See, that question
Um,
fit you tonight.
I'm basically interested to wonder what the
What you
hard question was gonna be.
Listen. We're
you
gonna have
just
you back
never
on.
know.
We're gonna have you back on. And sometimes our questions are like, you be like, wait a minute, you want me to do a win? Right now, like right here, like
Now
oh wait a minute, I know I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared.
it's a fun
You
question. It's a fun segment of our show.
absolutely, we love to be able to highlight the guests that come on our show because word of mouth is one of those things that if people don't know you, if they haven't experienced you, because again, guys, as an author in the literary world, you guys are selling an experience. People aren't necessarily buying what you are writing, they're buying the experience that you give them. And
Mhm.
so we want people to be able to experience you. And in that experience, they get to hear your why for what you do. They get to hear your intent for what you do, why you move the way you move. And that's what draws people to you and
Mhm.
your brand and your pen. And so if somebody needed you to do a book for them, they want a Candyman on their team, what would they have to do for those covers?
Well, one definitely contact me, but for the most part, my website is woodsoncreativestudio.com. You can find me on Instagram at @jowoodson, on also on Facebook, Woodson Creative Studio. Uh, my email is definitely in there. You'll get me and my mother because we basically work together on your book covers, fleshing out the ideas. So yeah, if anybody's ever looking for a book cover or wanted to, even to chat about one,
Mhm,
I'm always open to that or open to fleshing out ideas.
mhm.
I
Someone asked,
love
do you also do websites, JL?
I've shied away from the website
Mhm.
portion. I know I will design one, but as
Okay.
far as developing, I leave that to some of my other teammates
Okay.
because website design has basically taken on a whole nother level.
absolutely. I
Like,
agree.
and I think when we think about people as designers or as artists, um, you have people who want to do everything. Like that was me when I was first coming out. I wanted to do everything. I wanted to design print collateral. I wanted to design magazines, this, that, and the other.
Mhm,
Don't get me wrong. I can still design it, but my main niche is book covers, literary projects.
But it's learning your lane. You
Hmm.
you, you had to learn and create your lane. You had to find that niche.
Yeah.
Everybody has hidden skills of things that they can do, and people don't know until they find out. Like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. Or
mhm,
when you learn how to do that, yeah, I
mhm.
know, but that's just staying in your lane. I got the skill. I can do it. That's just not what I do.
Yeah.
But I can get you to somebody that can do that for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's also a matter of self-care, if you will. It's
That's
a
right.
little part of self-care because of the fact spreading yourself out, being trying to be this amazing hybrid designer that can design everything,
Long
like,
hours.
and there's a burnout. Like I did not listen to my teachers when this happened, but I would say probably about like 5 or 6 years ago, I burnt out, and I burnt out hard. I was ready to give up, but all I really needed was just a moment to myself and a moment to basically take in, like, okay, I need to narrow down what I really, really wanted to do because graphic
Mhm,
design is a very big umbrella.
Yeah,
mhm,
So
absolutely.
it's a little portion of self care.
mhm.
Absolutely. Now we want you to shout out all of your social media where everyone can get your work and any virtual events or book signings you may have coming up.
Okay, so like I said, at JL Woodson is on Instagram, also at Woodson Creative Studio on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, JL Woodson. Like pretty much, you just type in JL Woodson, you'll find me. Um, Woodson Creative Studio is my website. WoodsonCreativeStudio.com. Trying to think what else. Basically, for right now, as far as book signings or anything like that, I leave that up to my mother. As far as when those things are happening, because of course everything is basically a shutdown. So can't really have that happen. Like we did have the cavalcade of authors that was coming up and everything like that, but of course that got postponed. But yeah, for the most part, as far as speaking, if it's not author related, it's mostly diversity and inclusion for AIGA Houston, or working with General Assembly, which is is basically an education platform where we talk about different subjects like social impact, things of that sort, or graphic design as well. So,
absolutely. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Well, we so appreciate you coming to kick it with us in the chat room.
Thanks for having me.
Your time, your space, your mind, and just be able to show everybody, you know, Black men right. You know, they are powerful in their pen. They are powerful in their movement. We appreciate everything that you do, and we want you to keep doing it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
You as well. You as well. Thank you for having me.
Come back again. Okay, that was awesome.
Absolutely. Great show. Great show. Thank you, Unique Herman. We appreciate you guys coming to kick it with us here in the chat room. We will see you guys on Monday. We have Jamal. He will be in here. Jamal Johnson, as well as Omar Tyree, is going to be here talking about his new project. So we so appreciate you guys coming to kick it with us. We will see you guys on Monday. Make sure you like, follow, and share Let's Chat. We are Let's Chat on every platform, whether it's Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram. Tomorrow I will be facilitating a Black Men Write, Black Authors Matters tour interview session tomorrow on the Black Authors Matters page. Make sure you guys head over there on tomorrow at 4:00 and join us. We'll be talking about men and the writing process and their experiences through that. We thank you guys for coming to kick it with us, and we will see y'all soon.
Have a good weekend. Bye.